I didn't make this video for likes or for subscribers. I simply made this video to help others. So if this video helps you out, please consider paying it forward with a small donation to the great cause listed in the video description below. Now let's get started. So let's begin with what you're going to need for this project. You probably have most of the tools already, but you may have to buy a couple of them. And the first one you probably have to buy is the rebar, which is 4 feet in length and a 1/2 inch in diameter. You can get it at Home Depot. And you may also have to buy the 1/2 inch drill bit to drill the hole into the pole for the rebar. You may already have the drill. You may already have a sledgehammer, or really, I think any hammer would work. 2 car jacks, so you may have to borrow one from a neighbor, and whatever raises the car jack, that's pretty stupid, just being thorough. And 2, I used here pieces of stone, flat pieces of stone, to put on either side of the post or pole. You may also need a shovel to dig around the post or the pole before you lift it out of the ground. So just to give you an idea of what I was dealing with, I was trying to get a metal clothesline out of the ground that was cemented into the ground, and it weighs, I don't know, 150 pounds. I couldn't lift it out. I dug around it, couldn't lift it out, and it wasn't until I used this technique to actually get it out of the ground. It was not going to budge otherwise. And this is what we're looking at. This is the second one. And luckily this one was in a little bit looser soil, so you can see it already moves. The other one did not at all, and it would move after I dug around it, but not freely like that. So the first thing to do is to drill the hole in the pole, and I took one of the slabs of stone, flat pieces of stone, that you could use a wood board, I'm sure, put it on the ground next to the pole. Because you're going to put the car jack on top of it, the stone will stabilize it so the car jack doesn't sink into the soil. But this is just for sake of measurement of the rebar and where you're going to drill the hole. And so you'll see that I just kind of guesstimate it of where the hole needs to be drilled for the rebar. And then I get to drilling, and it does take a little bit of time. So once you drill through the first side of the pole, you can just continue on and drill the hole on the other side of the pole, just straight on through. This one took a little bit of muscle. It's a pretty thick pole. But one thing that you'll need to keep in mind is that the 1/2 inch rebar will not fit right through the hole that you drill, because the 1/2 inch drill bit doesn't create enough space for it to fit straight on through. So when you're drilling through the hole on each side of the pole, you have to use the drill bit and kind of circle around it to widen it enough for the rebar to fit. And you'll see what I mean when you do it yourself. So here's just an example of what I mean. I've already drilled the hole through both sides, but I had to go back to this other side to just kind of widen it a little bit, enough for the rebar to fit. So here we go with the rebar. The holes are big enough now that I'm able to get it through, but then it probably doesn't slide on through perfectly, so I use a sledgehammer just to hammer it all the way on through. And once the rebar is through, now you'll see I put the other slab of stone on the other side of the pole, and put both car jacks with the rebar. And you'll see I also dug out around the pole a little bit, around the cement. I tried to cheat and not do that, and it bent the rebar, so it didn't lift it out of the ground. But now that I dug it out, you'll see that the pole comes up a lot easier, or at all. This one was in easier soil than the other pole that I showed you earlier, the first one I did. And this one I feel like I may be able to lift out without the car jacks. But the other one definitely was not coming out. So you'll see how I go back and forth, and you know, the pole slowly rises out of the ground, and I go all the way to the max with the car jacks, and then the rebar makes it pretty easy to then use to lift out of the ground. And as I'm lifting this out of the ground, you'll get an idea of how heavy this really is. And this is the technique that worked to get it out. I didn't have to buy any tools or equipment that I'd never use again. This was all from pretty much stuff that I had around. And it worked. So I hope this works for you the same way it worked for me. And if it can get 150-pound clotheslines out of the ground, I imagine it can get most things out of the ground. Good luck, and let me know how it goes.